Thank you so much for joining us today. We're so excited to have you here. Can you go ahead and give us a brief introduction?
Hey, yes, my name is Ben Trammell. I'm the owner of Applying Pressure, and I have been doing so for about 5 years since 2015. I'm excited for this interview, so thank you for having me.
Perfect. So how long have you been in the field in general?
In general, I would say since 2015, I
Okay,
started.
so 7 years. Okay.
Yeah, it's been pretty nice journey. Learning along the way, trial and error. As any small business would, but you kind of have to find your way. But since then, I learned a lot through experience, through people. Just every day this could be something new, but it's exciting because you don't deal with the same thing like every single day. So I mean, it's been pretty great. 7 years is a long time, and man, I feel like it's been longer, honestly.
Perfect. So what type of education or training is required for your career?
Education, I would say at least a high school diploma. But training, I would say as long as you're familiar with like small engine equipment, quick disconnects, pressure washer, of course. Sometimes you may have to get trained on the different chemicals that we use to wash the houses or the surfaces that we're working on. Um, Let me see what else. Of course, you have to, learn how to drive because we do have work vehicles that you have to operate. Um, and I think that's pretty much it as far as the equipment and education. You can just go online, you can find some different trainings, or you can shadow someone that's in the career or, pressure washing that you would like to do to kind of train you up on the things that's necessary for today's work. Because, of course, rules and regulations change over time. And as the years go by, OSHA have their, requirements, of course. So you just have to stay updated on the regulations and things like that as far as the job goes. But yeah, just high school diploma and, small engine, basically.
Okay, perfect. Let me jump back for a minute.
Okay.
What is pressure washing exactly?
Okay. So
Students
pressure
here.
washing, basically where you use a machine that pressurizes the water that's coming through the hoses at a certain psi. And basically what that does is it's so strong that it basically knocks off any dirt or grime that's on any surface. So of course it's so dangerous that you wouldn't want to point this at anyone or anything that could break. So like I say, pressure washing just in a nutshell is just using pressure to clean any surface with water.
Perfect. And so let me jump back into the education question. Is there any specific education or training that you have that helps you with your career?
Absolutely. Well, of course I would require anyone as far as me and what I require for people like our team members and everything.
No, what do you have?
Oh, okay. So basically what I had to basically for the position that I am in as far as the owner, I took a couple of business courses to teach me basically how to manage people, the different, I guess you would call it what's the word for it? I guess discrimination laws, because you with being in this position, you work with people of different ages, people of different background, ethnicities, and things like that. So you kind of have to get taught up to date because you don't want to offend anyone or you don't want to, get sued and things like that. So the business course that I took at Columbus Tech actually basically prepared me, for this role that I am in now. As far as using the pressure washer, it was just really with experience that I've had over the years with just using my hands and just being around older people around me. Back then everyone always was good at their hands. It wasn't really many cell phones and tablets and internet and stuff like that. So we was always outside doing stuff with our hands and tools and things like that. But yeah, as far as my role now, the requirement if someone wants to run their own company, I would say just at least take a business course so you know what all it requires for you to run that business and to start that business.
Okay. Well, let me ask the question a different way then. So when you went to Columbus Tech, did you major in something specifically? Like, did you get an associate's degree? Did you get a certificate? Do you have any degrees? Anything
Right,
like
right,
that?
right. So
So
starting
specifically,
off, I
what
went
do
to Detroit
you have?
University. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So starting off, I went to Troy University. I wanted to be a physical therapist. but that really wasn't working out, man. Not saying that I wasn't educated enough, but it was very, very tough, honestly. And then so a family member of mine kind of motivated me to go to Columbus Tech. They knew I was business minded. I always thought of different inventions and things like that. So I was a thinker, and I always came up with ideas of ways to make some money. And she was like, why don't you just go to Columbus Tech and and try for the business course? No matter what business it is, it'll kind of prepare you for whatever business that it is that you want to run. So at the time, I really didn't know what I wanted to do with business, but I knew I had a lot of business ideas, and that would prepare me for any business that I wanted to do. So, of course, Columbus Tech really taught me just to how to think forward, like put a plan in place, because if you don't have a plan or goals or anything like that for your business, then you're pretty much just spinning your wheels. So yes, I went to Columbus Tech and got my business degree, my associates in business management. And then I also, from there, went to Auburn to get my bachelor's degree in political science and kinesiology. So political science basically taught me about the world, the economy, different voter registration laws and things like that. And then the kinesiology basically taught me about injury prevention. So if someone, were to get hurt on a job or anything like that, I know how to help with that injury, how to wrap it, how to take care of it. If it's a dire emergency, who to contact and things like that. So I feel like every degree that I have is not specifically around business besides the one at Columbus Tech, but it's also, helped me build my business portfolio as far as the things around my business.
Awesome. So you kind of dabbled in this a little bit, but what led you to this career?
Oh man, the same thing I guess people get into when they, you're back against the wall. You're really trying to find a way to make some money. And that's kind of the situation I ran into, man. I didn't really have that much income. And at the time, I honestly had two jobs already, believe it or not.
What else
I
did
had,
you do previously?
oh man, I worked at O'Reilly Auto Parts, which kind of worked, well with me with using tools and things like that. So I was pretty knowledgeable about tools and cars and engines and things like that. So I worked at Columbus Tech, and then I worked at Rack Room Shoes and retail. So I had both of those at the same time, but it still just wasn't enough, So I was like, man, what can I do? My dad had bought me a little pressure washer I had for about a year before that, and I came across a video on YouTube, and it was kind of interesting. It caught my eye. So, oh my God, like people do this to make money. And I was like, man, it's kind of satisfying. Like people like to watch satisfying videos. So I came out in my front yard and hit the concrete, the driveway. I was like, man, I can kind of do this. Put out a couple photos, reached out to some friends and family, just starting off, just trying to get some work and just practice for real. So a lot of my friends and family, man, they was like, yeah, come on, do it. They pay me a good, good little bit. Not really great for real, but just something, it's better than nothing. And then once I was able to get those jobs for really cheap, I was able to build a portfolio to where I could display to people, showing them like, hey, look, this is what I can do. If you allow me the opportunity to do this, you'll get it at an affordable price and a great job. Because I already knew I could work hard. It was just getting the clients after that. But then also with building my portfolio, with being able to get friends and family to let me do their job for sometimes little or nothing, or maybe even free, allow me to get those photos of before and afters, and actually, like I said, build my portfolio to, present to other clients and things like that. So that would help me get to where I am today, starting off.
Perfect. What does a typical day consist of in your field?
Okay, so a typical day, what I usually do is I run through my schedule, see how many people I have working for that day with us, our team members that's out in the field. Once I do that, I go ahead and just go and check the other sites that we have for the next day, honestly. Once I check the sites what we have for tomorrow, I kind of bounce back and go and run through the job sites where people are already working, just to make sure, everything is on point, everything's okay. Do they need anything? Can I help? Do I need to go out and grab any more supplies? What do I need to restock on the inventory? And once I do that, I pretty much just go out and try to find other business, try to see how can we further grow our business. I ride around and look at other buildings, see if they need pressure washing. If so, I go in and ask to speak to, the manager, the store manager. Or if they don't know, I ask them, can they maybe give me a lead, someone who I can contact to maybe get that job or whatever. So basically after that, pretty much at the end of the day, I just ride around and yeah, just try to get more business for the business. Because at the end of the day, it's about growth. You know, it gives me more opportunity, but it also gives the people who are working with us to in the business to basically, get more money as well. Because I want everybody to pay to go. Everybody's in it for the money. So the more I make, the more they should be able to make. And that's the way I do it for, to be honest with you.
Perfect. So what do
But a
you enjoy?
typical day, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Yeah, but a typical day, I mean, it becomes repetitive, but you can always plan for the day to start one way. You'll wake up and get a couple phone calls, and it basically just throws everything out of whack. So I will say you will need to be a quick thinker.
Mhm.
You need to think quick on your feet, how to problem solve. It don't have to be the worst problem in the world, but you need to know how to fix something if there's a problem and have a solution. If there's no solution, just know how to communicate with people and let them know, like, hey, we weren't able to do this or complete this. I have another date scheduled for you. Would that be okay? Or maybe throw a little discount, you know. But at the end of the day, as long as that client or customer is happy, then that's all that matters.
Perfect. So what do you enjoy most about your career?
now now that I'm later or in this position in my career now, I would say I enjoy most being able to employ people.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's more satisfying than me. Of course, seeing the job done right is what I enjoy, but I think just being able to see other people make a living off of something that I created is like what I enjoy the most. People have been able to, pay their bills. People have been able to, get a new car. Man, sign their kids up for things that they probably didn't really have the money for, buy Christmas gifts,
Mm-hmm.
birthdays, things like that, and basically just live a life better than they have before. And that's what I think I look for, that I enjoy most about just being in this position. Now, once you create a business, you always can create other opportunities for your friends and family. Because honestly, when I really started with this business, all I had was my family, you know, cousins, friends that really just, wanted to help. They didn't necessarily need a job, but they saw my vision and just really wanted to help me. And so I really appreciated that too. But yeah, definitely I enjoy employing people.
Perfect. So what are some challenges that you faced in your role?
Challenges that I have faced, man, pricing.
Mm-hmm.
Pricing. Like I said, when I first started off, they say like, yeah, you can call and get a quote from this company and see how much they charge. But I'm the type person, I don't really like to just call around and, I feel like they can kind of feel the fakeness in it. They're like, yeah, they don't really want to know how much I charge for this job or want the job done. They just really want to know how much, they could charge if they wanted to do it. But pricing took me forever to really find that balance, because when it comes to pricing, I would say at the end of the day, when I first started off early, I was like, yeah, I made $100. But at the end of the day, I had to go to the store and buy the supplies, which may have cost me like $60 before I even got there to make that $100.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like $40 profit I really made. So I would say pricing is definitely key to finding, a way to make profit. You always have to add in the cost of materials that it takes you to do the job, versus just the money that you're getting at the end of the day. Yeah, the job at the payment at the end of the job may sound big, but how much did you actually spend to get that job done? So pricing was a challenge for me. Another thing that was a challenge for me is just finding good employees. And I don't really like to use the word employees. I like to say team members, because we're all in it together. Sorry, can you see me? Okay, my screen went blank. But yeah, I would say, yeah, definitely finding great people who care about your business almost as much as you do
Mm-hmm.
has been challenging. But the thing that's helped me with that challenge is basically go ahead and put rules and guidelines and expectations and stuff up front, so they know what you expect, versus just bringing them onto the job and just expecting them to already know what you expect, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. So how do you see your career and your company evolving in the next 10 years?
10 years, I see my company evolving to, man, having satellite locations in every spot or every location that we basically work in. So right now we basically have one central location and we drive out to the other locations. But it's growing so big now that in 10 years, I hope to have like a location in every basically, I guess, district that we work in. So for example, we do jobs in Opelika, Auburn, Phoenix City, Columbus, and Harris County. So for the Georgia side with Columbus and Harris County, I can have a crew there and a satellite, like an office, trucks, building, storefront there. And then also have one in like the Opelika, Auburn area, to where we have, a separate crew there and a guy that manage, a guy or woman to manage that location, and the one in Columbus and Harris County. So basically in 10 years, and I plan on expanding to the point where I have someone replacing me. I want there to be another me to replace me, so I could go out and get even more business and go to different states and traveling and make connection with other, big name brand companies like Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, and things like that, and get some of those bigger contracts. And yeah, and put people in my position.
Perfect. So what kind of person do you think is most successful in your field?
Man, that's a great question. I think the person that's most successful in my career would be someone who's organized, because you're not going to make it if you're not organized. You have to be organized. You can't schedule someone on a day and then, or say you're going to go give an estimate and then just not show up or be late, or just plain forget about them. Have I done this before? I have, but that's just, with growing and understanding what people expect of people when they're paying their money for it. So I would say definitely, yeah. I kind of almost forgot the question. I was thinking so much. What was the
what kind of person do you think is most successful in your field?
Yeah, so definitely be organized, someone who is driven, someone who has goals, someone who has a vision, basically. Never be stagnant, which means never, be still. You have to always keep it moving, always think, ahead of time, basically. So if you could just sit down and just write your goals down and just plan on where you want to be, just like you asked me, what do I want to be in 10 years? If I don't already think and know what I want to do in 10 years, I'm just working every day, day by day, 10 years is going to be here before I know it. You have to plan on that growth and everything. So that's how I look at it.
Perfect. So what does communication look like in your field?
Communication?
Communication.
Okay. Yeah. So it's me. And then it's our secretary. And then we have our field workers. So basically, the people who are out in the field, if they come across a problem or anything, they'll usually contact me or the secretary. And that's basically how it goes. Now, I actually communicate with the property managers of these sites. So like I say, we go out to sites in these different cities, but the property managers who are, in charge of these homes, or a private homeowner, I communicate with them one-on-one. So it's two different sides of it. We have the private homeowners who we do work for, and then we also have the construction side where we deal with like the new built homes and things like that. So with the private homeowner, it's just like one-on-one, just basically me with the homeowner, basically selling my brand, selling the company, and the great work that we do. But on the contract side of it, I talk to property managers who are managing each and every house that's being built. So if there's a problem or issue, the team members will call me to contact them to let them know, which are the property managers. Or if they have a problem, the property managers will talk to me, and I would relay the message to, the team members to let them know, hey, this is what's going on. If you have a problem or see anything else, contact me, and I'll relay it back to the property manager. So that's basically how communication goes. As far as the scheduling, we don't really have to communicate that much on that end. They basically have an app that they clock in once they get to the job site. Any announcements or anything like that, it tell them what day they work, how many hours they work that day, and yeah, how many hours they have left for, to reach the 40-hour mark, which is full time. Anything over there is overtime. So we try not to, do too much on that end, but The communication is really easy though. It's nothing really to it. As long as I can say like you got your calendar down packed and organized, I mean you can't go wrong.
Perfect. So what kind of technology do you use in your field?
Technology, we use a system. As far as the mechanics go, it's just the machine, which is the pressure washer. But technology, we use a system called neck checks. Neck checks. It's basically like I say, our clock in, clock out system. We can do trainings on there. Basically do videos and train people for new coming employees and things like that. That's pretty much all the technology that we use. Um, but you do also have like different gauges and things. It's not really like electronic technology, but it's like a mechanical technology. So you have different gauges to test your pressures in these machines. You have different technology in the nozzles that we use. For instance, like if you're pressure washing a soft surface, you wouldn't really use a pressure tip. You would kind of use a soft wash tip, which basically is soft enough you can wave your hand in front of it. Now the pressure tip, you wave your hand in front of it if you want to, your hand gonna be, to the white meat. So you don't want to, it's too much pressure, man. But yeah, you have to know, the knowledge of, the technology within the different nozzles that we use and the different gauges, because at the end of the day, it can become dangerous when you're dealing with that much pressure that's coming out of those guns for the pressure washer. So if you're not up to date on the safety regulations and things like that, it can be dangerous. So those type of technologies, as far as the gauges and the different nozzles that we use, are basically what we use on a day-to-day basis. Other than that, electronics is pretty much just the clock in, clock out system, the training system. Yeah, and that's pretty much it now that I think about it, as far as technology.
Perfect. So what kind of classes would you recommend for like a middle school or high school student to take if they're interested in your career or one similar?
Okay, yeah, one similar, because I'm thinking when I was in high school, I don't think they really had anything as far as like pressure washing. Now, if you take class something like on auto mechanics maybe, because they use the same type of machines that we use actually with house washing and pressure washing. Because if you're rebuilding a car, if you're detailing that car, if you're degreasing the engine, trying to get oil off the engine bay, they basically use a pressure washer, to basically clean these surfaces. So I would say something like auto mechanic, maybe a little bit of woodwork, just to, get great with your hands, and the different type of machines that you use to like drill, and the quick disconnects that we use. And I think auto mechanic would probably be the closest thing that I would say that you could take. If not, then, you can always educate yourself through YouTube. And I know there's other professionals out here that have courses that you can go online, and, you can buy and be certified through them as well with doing pressure washing, as well as any other career. So I would say definitely auto mechanic. You could shadow someone that you may know in your area, or a relative or someone like that. You're like, hey, can I just shadow you, or watch you, or come on a couple of jobs to just even see if I even like doing this. And 9 times out of 10, they'll let you know like if you're cut out for it. So then that don't really cost you any money. It's just trial and error. Just go out there and just shadow someone that's in the field that you want to do, and see if you like it.
Perfect. Do you have any other advice for our students here at Richards?
Yeah, I would definitely say try again. If it's something that you thought you were good at or great at, and it don't end up working out, it's not the end of the road. Trust me, it's a million things out here to do to try to make some money. It may not be the first thing that you had a great idea about, but just move on to the next. Don't just mope around and just be down on your luck. Just keep going. Research is the most important thing. If it's something that you want to do, don't wait on anyone else to tell you the information about it. Go out there, YouTube videos. I'm a type of person, I love to watch videos about something that I'm interested in. So definitely go out and self-educate yourself about what you want to do. And you don't also have to just do one thing. It could be multiple things at one time. One of them is going to work. So just stick with it and just grind. Just get it. And eventually one day, you'll be on an interview like this, getting interviewed about what you're doing, and, motivating kids and things, that want to come up and be like you. So just stick with it, be strong, and just, stay prayed up.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
All right. Thank you for having me. Bye, y'all.